I've always had a decent sized garage or a shop that I could work out of to weld. But now I only have this one car garage, so I need a welding table that is compact in size. I've used this toolbox in the past for a welding table, and I mean, it works all right. I like to weld outside, and you know how these things are to roll around. They're not the greatest, and it's got a wooden top, so that's not great either. There's just a lot of things going on here that make it not so great for welding. So I ended up going to Harbor Freight. I ended up buying one of these collapsible welding tables. And my hope is that it folds up nice and neat and it's easy to store so that I only got to take it out when I need it. And today we're going to put it together. So this is all the hardware that came with it. And all of the nuts, bolts, and washers all came pre-assembled. Hopefully it goes together well. All right, this thing went together in about 45 minutes or so. There's really not a lot to talk about here. A few things that I noticed right off the bat is I wish this was just a little bit higher. Maybe between this height and this height would be better for me, but it's not really a deal breaker. The top tilts to either side. You also have these little fence pieces on the side that slide up, and then you just kind of tighten them on the side there, and that gives you a right angle. So if you want to butt some pieces together, you can do that to make a nice right angle. I ended up using a Phillips head screwdriver, an 8mm combination wrench, a 13mm combination wrench, and a 13mm socket. And it went together perfectly. There was no problems with the hardware. Slats in the top. This is obviously for using clamps. You can go ahead and clamp your work. You could use the vice grip C-clamps, or you could use a regular C-clamp. These are big enough that everything that you would typically use would probably work well here. This clamp on the side does work pretty well. So if you want to store this, you can just tip it up, fold the legs in, and now you've got a nice compact table that's pretty easy to carry around. Overall, pretty happy with this thing for what I paid for it. Out of Harbor Freight, it was less than $100. Now that I got this table together, I got a small welding job to do. My stepfather's working on a John Deere, I think it's a 420 tractor, and we're gonna do a little sheet metal work, and he also wants me to weld a hitch for it. So we're gonna go ahead and work on that. We got the welder and the table and everything set up outside. We got the welder hooked to 220 for the very first time. I've been using it on 110, but now that I got the 220 outlet, we're gonna run it on 220. We've got a couple of exhaust pieces and brackets to weld up. And then over here, we've got this receiver we're gonna weld to this hitch. So that's why I went over to 220. The wire I'm using is 030, and I really wish I had 035, but I think we can make it work. And we're running a shielding gas, which is argon CO2, and we've got a little bit of a breeze today. I think we're gonna be okay today. All right, we got all of our parts welded up. This was the first time that I used my new 220 outlet with the titanium welder. It worked really well once I got it dialed in. The table worked great. Took on a little bit of damage when I hit it with the grinder. It's got some spatter on it now, but overall it held up really, really well, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think overall between the welding table and the welder, I was probably the weak link in this project, but I don't think anything's gonna fall apart. So I'm gonna chalk it up as a win, and we'll move on to the next project. If you stuck around to the end, I appreciate you. You're better than most, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.